Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WiFi's Tournament of Gamekeys broadcast show. Yesterday evening, you watched as Rogers and Pounder and Fatal Saint brought you guys the earlier round games from this tournament, which will see some lucky players, a great number of lucky players, I believe 16 lucky players, winning a selection of games which were purchased in the recent Steam sales and Origin sales. But tonight, it's Fatal and Tommy, it's TFN in the house. We're going to be bringing you the semi-finals and the finals. We are going to be revealing the winner of tonight's show. But first, of course, let me introduce the one other half of TFN, Mr. Fatal Saint.
What's up, Tommy? Welcome, guys and gals, to the Frontline Network's live show of WiFi's Tournament of Gamekeys today, Sunday, August 25th. And we will be covering the semi-finals and finals of that very same tournament, and it's going to be awesome. Just a quick look at the brackets. I'll go ahead and do that. Let's see here. We're going to find the brackets, and they're over here. And we can see, I'm going to post them in the chat as well while I'm at it. You can see the four semi-finalists, Barton PL versus OMG Pop in the top brackets. And then in the bottom of the brackets, we have Siberian versus Increase. And I believe we will be starting off by doing that semi-final, Siberian versus Increase. And the semi-finals are played on Longre, summer, or spring, however you want to look at it. And I believe it's going to be some kick-ass games.
But Fatal, it's Longraskaya now. We can't call it Longra. It's Russian Longra.
Yeah.
Well, as we get ready to see tonight's show, we're going to roll our TFN trailer. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be right back with our first game from this series between Siberian and Increase.
You are about to witness bodily dismemberment, sub-zero temperatures, and all-out mayhem, brought to you by the Frontline Network.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time that we jump on board our very first game of tonight's show. Who do we have playing once again, Fatal? Just remind us.
We had Siberian, a fairly well-known streamer, also aka Siberian Rage, which I've named him today after raging a bit. He will be taking on the Soviets in the first game of the semifinals against Increase, and I checked up on the leaderboards because I don't really recognize the name. I'm not sure if you do either. I don't think so.
No, I don't.
But he's somewhere around, top 50, between 50, 100 or something on the ladders, and he's. Level 100, not rank, but level 100, so obviously he's played the game quite a lot.
He's played a lot of the game.
He's put his hours in. Siberian's also level 100 actually, so the hours are there, but you still gotta have, that thing, you still gotta be something special, I think, to actually make it this far. So as he's made it to the semifinals, I believe these games are gonna be really good.
Yeah, I mean, levels are one thing, but it's your elo. That's what really makes it. And Fatal, of course, you're the proud owner of the #1 spot on the 2v2 Ostia ladder, aren't you?
I am indeed. Somehow
TFN's own Fatal Saint. We got a pro in here.
yeah, we got a badass in the house. Yeah, I'm right here. But I'm not exactly sure how that happened. But yeah, that happened. So that was pretty cool. But in 1 versus 1. especially as Soviets, I don't really know how to play it. So I'm going to be interested to see how Siberian plays it out, because I've been watching his stream quite a lot. I helped him by doing, a fancy overlay and whatnot, because, he's a cool guy and he's a nice streamer, and I think he brings something to the Company of Heroes community, because his streams are very well-mannered and friendly, and, loads of people watching them, and at peak numbers, he's got over 100 viewers or whatever. It's basically the same viewers you and me got when we stream, just when we were playing, for example. So, yeah, I'm going to be interested to see, because I know that sometimes when he plays on stream, he just does this crazy penal battalion build things because he just likes to do strange stuff. But I'm not exactly sure if he's actually going to gamble with that in a semi-finals of a tournament, just going for like lol-tastic penal battalion builds just to throw your opponent off and throw it. It's mind games, however, so maybe that works too. I don't know.
Well, maybe. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. Hopefully, he's got a really solid tournament-worthy strategy, which he's gonna be showing to everybody tonight. In fact, do apologize. Just one moment. Small technical difficulty. Do bear with us. Fatal will entertain you with some fun stories.
Fun stories.
Just give me 2 minutes.
Oh, I see doors opening and closing and opening and closing. How do you guys like that transition, however? That was made courtesy of
I do love doing it. I do love just opening and closing the doors. It's very, I don't know, very cathartic or something.
You usually stand around in your living room just doing that with doors, like door, close door,
naked
open door.
That's what I like doing.
Okay.
But we're now good to go. So thank you everybody for bearing with us just for this couple of minutes there. We're gonna open up now and show you guys the battlefield of Lungraskaya. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
And we have Siberia taking on the Soviets versus Increase's Austere player. So it's going to be interesting to see if we get to see some good old, double MG build going for the base pin. But this is not, tournament positions, as starting positions are random. So we're actually going to have the Germans in the north and the Soviets in the south.
Okie doke, well, let's get started. We're at the 5-second mark. We're going to be unpausing in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Nothing fancy or funky going on in the German base. We got the tier 1 building coming up with the initial pios, no second pios. The only time I've actually seen someone actually do that and it kind of works is Barton. And he's actually playing in the other semifinals. And he just does 2 pio opening because he still thinks he's playing Company of Heroes 1, I think.
Well, the funny thing is that in Company of Heroes 1, Barton typically did 3 Pioneers, so maybe he just really loves Pioneers, because, the standard in Vico was, of course, for everyone who played Vico, and when we say Vico, we mean Company of Heroes 1. For people who played that, the de facto opening was 2 Pioneers. 2 Pioneers, good for laying lots of mines, good for laying lots of wire, good for just general capping. But in Company of Heroes 2, the de facto opening is just the single Pioneer. This is due to the changes made to the way that the Tier 1 works. All the units out of Tier 1, or a lot of the units out of Tier 1, cost just like 240 manpower, so they are fairly cheap, fairly cost-effective, and really you'd rather get a combat unit than you would another Pioneer, typically, unless you're Barton, obviously, and I can only guess that he is just using them to put wire down everywhere, because that's what he loved doing in the
actually,
original
not
game.
that much wire in the games I've seen him played in this tournament when he's done double pio opening as was there, but he uses it to full effect to repairing stuff, for example, because if you're repairing with 1 lone pio or 1 lone combat engineer, for example, it takes ages, like literally. Takes ages. If you want to repair a medium tank or something that actually has, a fairly good health pool on it, it's going to take forever. But with double pios, repairing is extremely quick, and you can also lay down, obviously, Teller mines, for example. And we know from having cast some of Barton's games, just normal auto match games, he always does this, forward placement of his healing bunker and uses the German half-track to reinforce in the field and basically never retreat.
Yes, we have seen that kind of strategy used a lot from him. It sort of harks back to the days of the aggressive med bunkers from Vico. Yeah. When you'd stick the med bunker up in your opponent's face and use that with combined with defensive doctrine to reinforce from the bunker. So it's bringing a bit of the old Co-1 tactics into Co-2.
Very aggressive movement from the MG from increase. He went MG Gren so far, and he's not. He doesn't have enough manpower to queue up his 4th unit if he decides to go for a 4th, which I'm presuming he's gonna do. Generally, you see fairly large tier 1s nowadays. I've seen in some of the games I casted yesterday's with RMP, there were 5 tier 1 units, 6 tier 1 units almost sometimes, but. Generally, I think 4 units is the de facto build to go for. You go 4 units and then you tick up.
Yeah, generally speaking, we do tend to see slightly faster teching in Company of Heroes 2 compared to Company of Heroes 1, so there isn't so much room for those kind of massive tier 1s like maybe there was in the original game, because it was somewhat standard to see a 5-unit tier 1, or even a 6-unit tier 1, and from certain players like Alyaj, more.
That was a brutal Molotov actually going to force that Grenadier to retreat down to 1 man, but he's most likely going to be able to run the gauntlet back to base because there's nothing in his way there. But this MG now double flanked. He managed to get a burst off to suppress 1 of the conscripts. So very aggressive move from the German player, but it didn't really pan out. So I think he stalled Siberian at best.
Yeah, he did take that cutoff, but he wasn't really cutting him off from anything because Siberian hadn't really capped anything on that side anyway. So.
He has the right anyway, so he doesn't really care, I think.
It's an interesting psychological move though when you go for the cutoff, because even if you aren't actually cutting off anything, most players will feel compelled to to oppose you because you're sort of uncomfortably close to their base. But in this case, Siberian reacted well, and well, as we can see now, a lot of the map, from my point of view, is turning blue. He's capping an awful lot of the map, and it's beginning to expand nicely. Considering that he only went for a 3 conscript opening, this is a good start for him.
Yeah, very nice flamer pop in the middle of engagement on the left-hand side, fuel on Longer's guy here. During that engagement, I think that Siberian was just trying to decap the fuel or harass. He threw a Molotov which forced the Pios to actually relocate, but he was upgrading with flamethrowers at the time, so he basically was stalled until the flamethrower upgrade hit, and then he managed to force off that the conscript squad away from Siberian. But apart from that, he's not really sitting on many sectors. He has the fuel, so he can keep teching at least, but he doesn't have either of the 2 munitions points on the map. He's trying to fight against this combat engineer squad in one of the buildings. There is MG in the building. So it's like building versus building wars right now.
Building versus building in Company of Heroes 2 is a very long fight. A very long fight indeed.
Buildings.
Yeah, did you know that wood is infused with Kevlar back in the 40s? In 40s Russia, the government distributed Kevlar in their wood to defend against the German hordes.
That's gotta be what happened. That
is historical fact, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have you know.
It's kind of like the KCH squads from Company of Heroes 1.
Coated in gasoline.
They also had some badass Kevlar at that time. Like, seriously.
But gasoline-infused Kevlar.
No, I think it was something like, they got Kevlar armor, which made them extremely resilient to small arms fire, and then they basically, dipped themselves in gasoline as some form of a pre-battle, I don't know.
Only the Knights Crossholders are allowed,
yes.
The greats. Oh, no, I know what it is. They used it to scare away the enemy. The smell was so repulsive, they would just run away. That's why you see so many troops retreating from KCH.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be it.
I've cracked it. I've cracked it.
You cracked it.
Yeah, I knew it.
I kind of think that gasoline smells good. I don't know.
Oh, gasoline's horrible. Horrible stuff.
It's fine. It's fine. I like chemicals. Chemicals. We do have a first
like a
M3
pyromaniac.
Yeah. We do have the first M3 out with a combat engineer upgraded with a flamethrower. It's going to be fairly good, but there are the 3. He went for a 3 tier 1 opening, 3 grenadier opening with 2 MG, so 5 tier 1 units for the German player, and he's teched to tier 2, but he's not actually put the building up. He's floating quite a lot of manpower. He's got more than enough fuel to put the building up, etc. But I think his pioneers, as he's only started with 1, has been in the field with that flamethrower upgrade, actually fighting. So he hasn't actually been back to base until now to start putting up some of the base buildings.
We've got a real intense fight just around the Vermont players' cutoff here up in the north. This scout car running around, it can't get too close, so the Faust is going to go in here at long range, out of control. Down goes the scout car. The Flamers do manage to jump out just in time. And actually, the MG was decrewed there by that conscript squad. Is that going to be a steal?
Yeah.
Oh, he can't, surely. He's going to sacrifice his squad if he steals it. Oh no, he's going in with the other conscript, the other combat engineer is coming in. He's going to steal it. Oh! Oh, goodness!
Beautifully placed rifle,
goodness, that was brutal.
I think he's still going to get it.
Just one good bullet one good bullet. No, he's not gonna land it, and that was an MG steal right there. I don't know though. I mean, he really paid in blood for that.
Yeah, he did take quite a lot of casualties. That rifle nade, man, that was so beautifully played. He knew it was gonna happen, and he played it. And
I bet even he didn't realize it was going to be quite that good though, because rifle nades, they seem so hit or miss. You know, they're like potato mashers from the original game.
The AOE is so small.
Yeah, they either do a ton of damage
hit,
or they do basically nothing.
Yeah, but if you really hit, if there's any units in that small AOE, it's gonna die.
Yeah, and wow, talk about flamers.
German cutoff.
Oh, lots of burning. Lots
of fire going on, flamethrowers and molotovs around for everybody. There's enough to coat everyone in flame if they need to be coated in flame. I'm not exactly sure. It looks to me like the German player right now is doing, you know, even with that MG steal, he's gotten basically the whole right-hand side of the map locked down now. He has one conscript squad from Siberian just harassing his fuel now, but he has an MG here, and he's hopefully going to be able to actually suppress this conscript squad and get it out of the way. He's setting up the MG. I'm gonna put on Fog of 4. Yep, he can't see that conscript squad, so he's gonna get a burst off and start suppressing those conscripts from Siberian to force him off the fuel on the right-hand side, because he did lose the fuel on the left-hand side to Siberian before, but he has stolen the cutoff away from Siberian as well, so he's not getting any resources from anything on the map right now, apart from one strategic point outside of space.
He's got a very, very low munitions pool here. We had a nice bit of, well, I'm not sure if I can call it nice. The MG just walked, unpacked into a conscript squad that it just pinned a few seconds ago, so he knew it was there.
He must have lost sight on it or something. I'm not sure
I guess he assumed they'd run away or something. But that MG was forced to retreat. Instead, he is sending his crack squad of flame pyros and a grenadier here to go and deal with these pesky conscripts. Whoa, torching two of them with the first flame.
That 15% chance to insta-torch anything with the flame critical can be extremely devastating if you roll some lucky crits there. A whole squad can go down in a few seconds. Where's that stolen MG? There it is. 6-man MG 42. Nothing to laugh about at all. He's gonna have to have some more miracle rifle nades to dislodge.
Well, actually, look at how close they're bunched.
Yeah.
Look at all those guys.
Just like
they are
insta-wipe.
Wow. I mean, they must be really comfortable with each other, because those guys are right on top of each other.
So sniper now with conscripts and combat engineer flamer upgrade.
Oh, he rifle nade on the sniper! Rifle nade on the sniper! He was well out the way though. He did dodge it. That could have been nice though, because you know that rifle nade animation is not that obvious to spot. I mean, especially when there's like flames and there's things on fire and smoke.
Trees and everything.
Yeah, it can get really tough. It's like the old thing with in Vico, where you place demolition charges on the opposite side of buildings to where the default camera could see. So you had to manually twist your camera like that in order to be able to see the demo charges.
Yeah, I've seen some fairly nice placed grenades and rifle nades and molotovs in couple of areas too as well. When you know the units are hiding behind buildings, for example, you can't see the animation and you're completely oblivious of what's going to happen, and then your men explode, and that's basically what happens. But
like, what the hell happened?
The German player has actually gone for a quick tier 3, so he skipped tier 2, so that's why he didn't put it up. He went directly for tier 3, and he's got not really a good fuel income. He has some strategic sectors, but none of the high fuels. He's trying to expand on the left-hand side to most likely grab that fuel in the bottom left-hand side of the map, but he's not miles away from an Ostwind or a P4, for example, 15 fuel away, which is roughly 1 minute away from him in the current resource gain he has.
That could be nasty, but then again, I mean, you gotta look at how much map control he's lost due to not building tier 2. I mean, you know, when you go for these fast techs, you generally you want to have already established good dominance, but here he's lost out a lot.
Yeah, I generally don't favor going for the quick tier 3 anymore. I did it a little bit before in the prior patches, and I sometimes do it again when I play in 2 versus 2s, but not apart from that.
The flamer snuck into the building here and absolutely just had a field day with this sniper. Killed the spotter. 180 XP right there.
Almost
leaving
killed
just
the conscript
one man.
squad.
Yeah. And you know, killing just spotter from a sniper squad is actually really expensive. Those guys are not cheap to reinforce.
90 manpower, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's expensive. That's, you know, a couple of those, and you know, that's a whole other unit, yeah. But look at this now. Look
Yeah,
at the
we
map.
do have
I
the
mean,
fuel required now.
totally dominated by Siberian. Although, the one thing that is a little bit dangerous is that the only real AT that he has is this guard squad. So when the first vehicle pops out for Increase, he is, well, Increase is going to have, he'll probably have a small window where there'll be very, very little to oppose him.
Sniper standing by.
Yeah, there's no commander's choice for Increase right now. Do we have one for Siberian?
We
Does
do,
he-
yes, he has unlocked himself the dual T-34, dual T-34s
guard
and
motor
guards.
coordination tactics.
That's the one.
Well, he's had both the right-hand side and the left-hand side of fuel on and off for the entire game, generally in his hands more than the Germans at least. So I guess he's fairly close to maybe getting that dual calling because he's gonna need it. We have a P4 cooking in a tier 3 building from Increase.
He's still a little way away from that, actually. He's a good 1.5 CPs, and then he still needs a little bit more. Well, he's going to be on track to get the fuel for it, but he needs another 1.5 CP, so he needs to do some killing or do some dying. One of the two things.
Yeah, there's a window for this P4 then.
Oh, definitely. There's definitely a window. The only AT here is the guard squad, and because he has those dual T-34s, I don't think he's making any kind of attempt to start teching up to tier 3 yet.
Well, he could do it like Armstrong did in the TFN World Championship, you know, going for tier 4, getting one SU-85.
Well, that would be the sensible thing to do, I think. But yeah, here's the P4 now.
Because he's going to need it.
There is, I mean, he hasn't even started building one of his buildings. I mean, this P4 is unchallenged except for 18-8s.
No, he gets a lucky crit as the 18-8s were actually changed in the recent
They were
patch.
changed, yeah, now they can
get
bounce, they can do deflection damage instead.
Yeah, penetration values went from which, I think like 1000, which meant they would penetrate everything, to something more sensible around a 100, 150 mark or so. So, on the frontal armor of a P4, I'm not exactly sure of the percentage chances because this patch is fairly recent, so I haven't actually crunched any numbers in properly yet. But you know, it's not a given anymore.
No, it's certainly the 18-8s, you cannot totally rely on them like you perhaps could have done in some of the earlier patches. So that's a welcome change, I think, for a lot of the competitive community.
Yeah, we do have 4 grants and now a sniper building for the German player Increase now. He has been floating quite a lot of manpower, and without tier 2...
Although actually Siberian Sniper is dead.
Yeah,
When did that die?
Not exactly sure, but oh wow, that was a nasty mine. I believe it might have been killed by the P4 because it was fairly far up on the right-hand side of the map here. I'm not exactly sure. I actually missed that myself. So getting the sniper himself now is not a bad idea, especially not with guards on the field. You know, every shot is got a lot of manpower down the drain for Siberian. Just start popping away, and without Soviet snipers on the field, he has no counter to fear really.
It might be a very clever move, actually, if he's anticipating AT guns.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He might be. He hasn't seen any tier 3 units. He hasn't seen, you know, a quick T70 or T34, for example. He hasn't seen any signs of the SU-85s either. He must be expecting something, however. But as long as he doesn't see anything, he's just going to roll around with his P4, just racking up the kills. There's not too much that Siberian can do about it either.
Right now, all he can do is just run around and try to manage his losses.
Stall!
Yeah, exactly. Stall the time. I mean, he still hasn't begun building any other tier of building. I mean, he's on 3.5 CPs now, and I think he is literally just holding out for that 4 CP mark where he's going to unlock those dual T-34s. And actually, he's floating a lot of fuel and manpower now, so he's definitely waiting for those.
Yeah, he's got to be waiting for the CPs required. So he's just going to try to get some kills. He's going to go after the sniper here, actually, I believe. But the P4 is kind of guarding him. But he's doing some fairly okay damage. The sniper is not actually cloaked, and he's going to be forced to retreat instead.
But how much is he going to lose this before
well, I guess
the counters arrive?
So doesn't really matter, I guess.
True. Yeah, he's just maybe he's just trying to suicide stuff now. I don't know.
Throw your men into the threads and get XP, and then unlock dual T-34-85s.
I guess so. He is very close to those now. Just a
At least it would
quarter
slow
of a
down
CP
the
away.
P4 a bit.
He's really floating now. He is. As soon as that 4 CP mark comes along, he's going to be hitting that button.
Not much float from the German player. He's constantly just reinforcing his grenadiers because he's usually getting picked on by
Oh, look at this, look at this. Rifle nade over them. Oh, he got a miss. It did barely any damage.
Not much.
No, that was unfortunate.
One guy, was that it?
Yeah, well, no, the one guy wasn't even killed by the rifle nade. It was killed by a shot afterwards.
Oh, that P4 is basically almost parked on top of one of Siberian's mines. I'm loving the mine usage from Siberian. You know, we've had quite a few of them actually planted on the map in the center here around that VP. And, you know, the classic mine placement just below the hay bales at the Soviet cutoff. You see that mine? Classic placement in that crossroad section.
Yes, I see that one.
Just to the right of the MG.
Yeah,
Very good placement. Doesn't get much more V code than that.
No, it does not. A couple of flamers engaging at very close range of the Grenadier squad. Gonna force that squad to retreat. People actually now being buttoned and actually taking some decent damage after being shot in the rear by these guards. Finally, the 4 CVs are unlocked now. Several T-34s are on the field. Here we go now. It's painful time now arriving for this P4 because now it's the Vermont player increase who needs to be worried about AT.
Yeah, and he must be expecting something, but as he doesn't have tier 2, he can't get any packs, for example. He just has enough fuel to build a second P4, which he's going to have to build right now. I believe there is one teller on the map at least. Between the two buildings at the center munitions point, there's one teller mine, but that's basically it, I believe. And that P4 was damaged by the guards, so even though the guards paid with blood for a bit, you know, I think it took 3 or 4 casualties, he managed to actually damage the P4 so much that these T-34-85s right now is going to have a field day with it.
Yeah, rolling straight forward. I thought they were going to go into the base there, but actually they moved away. I guess they didn't want to go in and eat a Faust, but they're just rolling around now. The entire Austere army is being retreated. This is really bad now. This is not how you want to react to a sudden vehicle. You want to spread out your troops as much as possible, because now all Siberian has to do is park one tank at one base entrance and one tank at the other, and that would be game over right now.
German players down to 273 VPs. Yeah, he's backing away. He's being very cautious. He's seen one P4, so he knows tier 3 is up, obviously, and there's always a possibility for multiple P4s. And the P4s, a little bit more expensive than the T-34-76s, but against these T-34-85, which is basically like the upgun version, I'm not exactly sure who's going to win versus 2 P4s and 2 T-34-85s, but I believe that the P4s...
85s. Really?
You think so? I don't know, the P4s just pack such a punch.
But then you got to think there's also guards. There's also guards and AT nades on the side of the
and mines. Look at
and mines, yeah, lots of mines. Oh, here we go. 1P4. What is 1P4 doing? He's going in all on his own, just taking damage needlessly there.
Oh, he might be Fausted, and that's going to slow him down extremely much.
Oh wow, that was a big hit. Big hit from that P4 there.
Loving the mine usage from Siberian.
Oh yeah, when that Austere player moves up, he's going to be running into an absolute, a real minefield here.
Yeah, there was very good use of his time he had when the German player basically treated every single unit.
Beautiful nade.
Nice nade.
Beautiful nade.
But this is basically just like DQ. You gotta take the opportunity that is given to you by your opponent when he does this mass retreat due to seeing, you know, the tanks on the field, for example. Just capitalize on it. Just build mines everywhere.
Yep.
Another nice
huge squish! Huge squish! 3 grenadiers just got crushed by this T-34 over here on the right-hand side.
Oh, this Gren's gotta be dead.
One good hit.
He's blocking him.
Oh, it's such a slow...
The turret rotation is so slow!
So slow. Oh, and he missed it. That's unfortunate. That would have been a nice little killing blow there.
So close and yet so far away. German sniper still alive. Bet 1 now, which unlocks that incendiary explosive round, which is pretty cool actually. Like slows down the unit that you're shooting at, and also crits on several crew members as well, so you can get like 2 or 3 guys in one shot. Two T-34-85s, both repaired. Both the P4s are repaired as well. The fifth one P4 took a bit of flak from one of the tanks there. But this is like, is this a reverse 7-1 pin?
This is like watching World War I. It's, you know, troops charge out of their trenches, out of their bases. They run into fire, into MG fire, and then they retreat again. But this time, these two P4s, they've singled out one of the T-34s.
Whoa, rifle nade on the MG, manages to kill 2 crew members. That T-34-85 very damaged, backing off. vehicle button on one of the P4s, the unvetted one, whilst the vet one is actually getting like combat repaired by 2 bios.
Oh wow, and nobody's focus firing those Pioneers either, so we got some nice free repair off in there. It's a real tank battle.
Shot. He's not going to be able to get away from this P4 either. It's vet one, so he could use the Blitzkrieg ability if he wanted to. P4 luckily misses, or if he actually was trying to shoot one of the combat engineers. I'm not exactly sure if he changed the target. But a lucky Faust on one of the T-34-85 destroys the engine, not a normal damage engine, that destroyed it.
Yeah, you can see nice little animation there at the back of the tank. The engine cap has popped off, flames pouring out, setting fire to the nearby bushes. Gotta love that attention to detail there.
Ooh, Stolen MG gets decrewed in the middle of this chaos outside of the German cutoff, outside of his base. Everything's dying.
I don't know who came out on top there. I mean, it was so brutal. Both sides lost an awful lot. I actually think that Increase may have come out on top there, and both his P4s are in, well, reasonable condition. They're in better condition than this T-34 anyway. One more hit, we'll see it go down to tank heaven. But he's gonna be able to get out of there, I think.
Maybe. He managed to repair one of them. I think he used cruise repair ability.
Oh! Oh, that sniper! He ran right into that. Oh man, that was beautiful. He flew into the air.
Poor guy. Right on the face.
Man, he ran right into that, and it was like a none of this, Vico, hit it a little bit and dance away with 5% health. That was just straight up walk into it, die.
Goodbye, good night, game over, no more Axis sniper, I guess. But that was a pretty good value for that mine. 35 munitions.
Oh, great value.
360 manpower? Yeah, I'll take that any day.
Siberian's army is starting to look a little bit scary now with the amount of veterans he's packing. He's got a Vet 3 conscript, a couple of Vet 2 conscripts, and a Vet 2 guard squad.
Oh. This, however, might be extremely problematic. When P4 actually hits Vet 2, it just basically takes no damage. It gets a damage reduction for Vet 2. It also gets those sexy side skirts. Everybody loves those side skirts.
Oh yeah.
I love them in Vico and I love them in Combat Affairs too as well. T-34-85s, both Vet 1 basically at the same time for shooting and dealing some damage to this MG. Here comes the 2 P4s now, both fully repaired. And I believe with that Vet 2 P4, he has the edge easily now.
Yeah, Vet 2 P4 is... it's going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to require something a little tougher now, I think. Maybe, I mean, it's worth mentioning, Siberian has been in Tier 1 this entire time. He has not tanked up past Tier 1. Maybe this is time to start breaking out the Su-85s? Maybe?
He needs one, I think. One Su-85 would...
It would go such a long way, wouldn't it? It would be so useful to have an Su-85 right now. It would totally change the flow of the game. It would require a very different approach to just getting more and more P4s. Because when you get T-34s, you can just sort of get more P4s, and then, it's a sort of even battle. It really just comes down to who micros better, who has the better support. But when you throw in an SU in there, whoa, do things change.
Yeah, it easily tips the tide for the Soviet player by just blinking away on the P4s at maximum range, and they can't retaliate. And when they're damaged a bit, you can move in with your T-34-85s just to finish off the job when they're trying to retreat away. But I'm not exactly sure. No signs of building any tier buildings, no tier 3 to get more T-34-76, and maybe go for a RAM, for example, or getting tier 4 for Su-85s. Is he just saving up for more T-34-85?
I think he is, yeah. He's
I don't think it's gonna work.
He's got it unlocked. He's got it unlocked and he's calling them in. Yeah, another 2 more of these. He's gonna have 4 of these BC tanks now.
Against the Vet 2 P4, it's going to be extremely hard to kill it, I think, with T-34-85s. They're just not good enough.
Wow, look at that. 2 penetrating hits did just nothing.
It's just not good enough.
Brushes them off. It's going to be really interesting now to see what happens. I mean, with 4 T-34s, that is it's so beastly. It's such a lot of firepower. I mean, he could even just sacrifice 1 in a ram.
We got our 3rd P4 building now after seeing the new T-34-85s being called onto the field from Siberian.
Is this going to be the all-in now? Are we going to see like an M10 rush?
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. We still don't have a commander's choice, so he could, in the heat of battle, go for one of the commanders that he has, like Festung Armor, for example, to get Panzer Tactician smoke on his tanks to basically bail them out during this engagement against 4 T-3485s. But right now he seems to be relying to just basically stalling them by using Faust from his Grenadiers, for example.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. He's moving in now. The P4s are backing
it?
away. They're backing away. He's coming in. He's still going in. I think he smells. I think he might smell. He smells blood. He wants to go in.
Keeps shifting back and forward.
Yeah, really, really fighting over his middle bit. And what's his P4 doing? What's his P4 doing? Oh wow! Oh wow! 3 big hits, one after the other. Boom, boom, boom. That P4. He stuck his nose out and nearly got it bitten off.
Yeah, he needs to take care now. He needs to single out the T-3485s, but I think against a good player like Siberian, that's not going to happen. He's going to support his T-3485s with more T-3485s and with conscripts, you know, so you can get 18-8, and then all of a sudden you can't retreat away from them, or you get buttoned by guards, for example.
Oh, marked vehicle has been popped. He has marked one of those P4s there.
But there's 2.
And there's
2 P4s now.
Oh wow, 2 of them now. Oh god. Oh wow, look at the damage they do as well. Look at the damage they do. One of them gets a destroyed engine. He's just a tickle away from going down.
Are these Krens going to be heroes and run in and Faust it? No, that's stolen MG and it was recrewed. The other bit 2 P4 is going to try and finish the job, but it's very risky.
Oh, he does. He does take it out. It's going out of control very, very slowly. There's a ram. It mobilizes the other P4 now. With Vet 2, here comes another one. It's going to be another ram. They're both immobilized!
Finish it off with. He's at 1 T-3485 remaining. Wow, both Grenadiers die to 1 shot.
There's still 1 surviving P4. He finishes off one of the T-34s. He's going to finish off the other. There's only 1 healthy T-34. One of them is still going out of control. It's the most painfully slow out of control I've ever seen.
He needs to polish off the one.
What's he doing? What are you doing, Siberian? He's trying to
crush the Pios, I believe.
He's trying to get through.
Armor. Nice raid on the repairing Pios. Nothing. That was lackluster.
Oh wow! If this P4, this is very close now. This is very close. He doesn't even. He needs to pop a Faust off or something. 1 more hit. Yeah, he does pop a Faust.
Oh, and he bounces on the front armor of the P4. He might be able to take it out the next shot. Destroyed engine, but he's still alive. He might get another shot on taking this T-34 or this P4 out of action.
They both bounce. They both bounce.
All that's needed is like a tickle on each time to kill him, and the P4 emerges victorious. What just happened, Tommy?
That was nuts.
That was a brutal battle.
That was nuts.
That was a brutal battle.
But Siberian just threw it all in. That was his. Oh my god!
Brutal grenade! Increased damage taken while repairing grenade from the guards in the face, and that Pyro squad got vaporized. Pink mist all over Langerskaya.
Oh, good lord. I mean, you know, all 3 P4s still alive, and all 4 T-34s are all dead. I mean, Siberian, he's got a mean infantry army, but he has no tanks. He's saving up now for another load of T-34s, but that's not going to cut it now. It almost cut it when he had 4 of them, almost. But now he's only got 3 of them, and he's going up against 2 of these Vet 2 P4s. Probably one of them now up to 18 kills, probably not that far away from Vet 3.
Well, he's gonna have a triple cap on the German player, and we have to always look at the VPs to see who's actually winning. And right now, if Siberian can stall for another 140 VPs, he's still gonna win, even though he lost 4 T-3485s. Double ram, extremely risky. I'm not exactly sure if that was worth it. He should have basically just focus fired, because all of the 3 P4s were heavily damaged already. I don't think he really needed the ram.
No, I think it was a little bit unnecessary.
I don't know. Impossible to say.
I guess we'll never know. That was a deflection. Yep. Well, those skirts probably helped out with that. 19 kills now on that P4. I mean,
very close to.
And he's back just to a double cap now. I mean, the thing is, Increase has the far superior army now, thanks to these P4s, but he just has no map.
He lost a lot of the infantry squads, however, so he doesn't really have an extreme amount of capping power. He's down to 2 Grens from 5, and he's down to 1 MG from 2. And he's rebuilt his Pios after losing that guard grenade, because he needs to repair his tanks over and over again, because he's still going at repairing the second Vet 2 P4 in his base. It takes him quite a while to repair them.
down to 113 VPs now increase. I mean, Siberian has time on his side, which sort of makes me wonder why he didn't just get some SU-85s there. He could have lost a little bit of the map. It wouldn't really have mattered.
Well, he outnumbered the P4s with, you know, more T-34s than P4s on the field. He had a shot, but if he's just saving up for another two, what's two T-34-85s unvetted going to do against his two beastly Vet 2 P4s? One soon to be Vet 3. The second is also close to, he's halfway to Vet 3.
Yeah, I mean, he is saving up again.
What's he gonna do?
He is saving up, still saving up.
It's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work.
No, I don't think it's gonna work.
He needs the superior range from an SU-85 to win this. He's not going to be able to just trade blows with the vetted P4s. That's not gonna work. Never.
Oh my god!
Ouch!
Wow,
That was painful.
that was a hell of a hit. Jesus. That's why it's unhealthy to walk around buildings or hedges even.
Hedges, yeah.
Hedges, yeah, little corners where your troops love to just bunch up. And people has got to be so close to Vet 3 now. Yeah, he's about 3/4 of the way there. Here we go again. More T-34s in the field.
I don't know about this. It's not gonna work. He should have.
Whoa!
You know,
big mine, and it's a Vet 3 Grand as well. He doesn't want to lose it, but he does lose it nevertheless.
Had an LMG upgrade as well, so that's a little bit of munitions down the drain as well. Still no commander's choice from Increase, and he's floating 11 CPs almost, so he could unlock an entire commander if he wanted to.
Jesus.
That was a brutal tank battle. I'm still reeling from that. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Just ramming everywhere and what?
And now he eventually got a
That
pack
just
out
happened.
as well.
That happened. Both of those P4s are so close to Vet 3, and then they get increased damage. They are going to shred any amount of T-34-85 Siberian throws at them.
Yeah, and he's out of fuel now. I mean, that he just used up the last of his fuel reserves getting those extra T-34s. The rest of his manpower is going on reinforcing, so he has no manpower.
We might go for a pack steal. That could work unless these P4s manages to... Oh,
there we go. Nuked. That pack
Well,
didn't
he
last
needs
very
more
long.
AT. Especially long-range AT, like AT guns. That could be extremely beneficial for Siberian right now, because he can't trade blows with the P4s. There's just no way. Especially not, as you know, compared to Company of Heroes 1 and Company of Heroes 2, you get XP from dealing damage. That means these two P4s that are Vet 2, they're gonna hit Vet 3 from just dealing damage to the T-34.
Whoa,
There's no pack
Jesus.
anymore.
This crossfire from these two P4s is just deadly. Anything that tries to go in this little kill zone just gets annihilated, and I believe
Siberian's had enough.
that's
Siberian's had
Siberian.
enough.
Yep, Siberian throws in the towel.
Well, he can't come. Look at the P4 on the right in the center. He's 1 pixel away from Vet 3. When that thing hit Vet 3, it could easily solo both unvetted T-34-85s all alone, because the damage output just, you know, increases tenfold almost. It's insane at Vet 3. They're unkillable.
Yeah, it's it was an absolutely brutal game, and I'm pretty amazed that Siberian wasn't able to clinch that.
Yeah, I don't know. That major all-in battle, or whatever it was, I'm not exactly sure if Siberian intended it to be an all-in battle. He just smelled blood. He saw 3 P4s extremely damaged, and he just wanted to kill them off. And it just didn't work.
It just didn't pay off, did it?
It just didn't work.
Well,
Extremely
folks,
good game.
yeah, it was a very good game. That was game 1 of our series between Siberian and Increase. We're going to take a short break just to flip over to our next replay. It's going to be game 2 of this series. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.